I've got Ben Tauscher on the line after three, four. God, I don't know how long you been out there, Ben, at the Atlantic Cup here.
Let's see. We started Friday evening. I don't even know what day it is. It's Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday, Monday. 3 full days.
So this is your third and a half day on the water. You know what's most interesting to me is if you look at the tracker, there's only one boat that's exactly on the rum line, and that's you. Meanwhile, you've been all over the fucking place.
Yeah. We had to do something.
Well, now explain, because Ben, we know that the Icarus is a bit of an older boat. We know that you've got a bit of a more limited sail inventory than some of the better funded boats, but you've been sailing in this moderate downwind conditions for 2 days now, I think, to the shock of everyone in the world. But then you had to make some big moves. Explain what happened.
Yeah, well, everyone converged. It was like a wind shift inside, and everyone kind of caught up to each other, and there we were. Everyone was setting kites early in the morning after changes from code zeros. And, yeah, we were like on a moped, and our friends were riding their Ducatis, so everyone was going by us. The shape of our kite isn't quite what you'd want in moderate conditions. So we were getting passed pretty badly, had to make a decision, had to do something, or else we were just going to be, pretty much left in the dust. So we made a decision before anyone else jogged. We also tried to attract some of the guys that aren't necessarily from here. We thought maybe if we jogged, they thought we knew something. But we can't even get grips or anything, so we really didn't know that much. But we knew we had to make a decision, so we jogged into the shore. So we got west of the rum line, and no one really followed us. We had a couple boats kind of come over about a quarter of a mile across the rum line, it seemed like, and they jived back to get on the eastern side. But we kind of extended out and knew that we would get the breeze first. The wind shift came in, and we had breeze all night. And then we were west of the rum line, just cruising along all afternoon with a kite, and then the breeze just kind of kept heading us and heading us and heading us all the way, and we've been on the rum line now for about 4 hours and doing our slow pace and not as low as everybody, but it seems like everybody else that didn't go all the way out in the Gulf Stream, which was the winning case, are now converging with us. So we're ready to dogfight going into New York Harbor.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've been watching dots on a screen for 3 days now, and it's fascinating right at the front. I mean, it looks like Halvard and the Campagne de France and Ryan Braymeyer and the Marais. They're in a full-on jibing duel all the way up into the lower Manhattan Bay and lower New York Harbor right now. You guys obviously a little bit further back, but it looks to me like, you are, sort of right in the middle of the fleet. Call it one of the, there'll be a really tight battle here, I think, between you guys and hang on, I just lost the tracker. Wait a second. You guys and which one's this one is and Transport Coherence and your friends on the your friends and house guests. I think it looks like you're going to all be hitting right around the same time. And I mean, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, let's put it this way: you've got this disadvantage of having not quite the same sales as some of these other guys. How are you going to handle that when it gets into a jibing duel up into Manhattan, in New York Harbor, and all the way to North Cove?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we kind of outsmart them to get here. It kind of evens the playing field from the move we made last night. It was the only move we really could make to get back up here with the group that we wanted to stay with. We knew we really couldn't catch up to the guys in front. But our plan right now really is to try and get to New York Harbor for the tide, which max flood starts at like 2 in the morning, and we have until about 5 in the morning to really get in there. So I think it's really going to be a strategy on our part, whether or not we're going to go in the South Sandy Hook Channel, go in the main channel, and then it's all about positioning ourselves and protecting ourselves because they're definitely going to be lower and faster. So I think what's happening right now, the reason why we're converging is they're having to jibe or they're trying to drive too deep because they are east of us. So we're on the rum line, and they're going to have to make a move that we made last night. It's just we made it last night earlier and had 220 breeze direction, so we were making gains towards the mark. So, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be exciting, and we'll figure it out when we start seeing each other. I don't know. We're going to have a tough time, really, in downwind, moderate conditions to keep them from passing us. But we've been in and out of this harbor a whole bunch of times. So is Rob Windsor. So a little worried that we were before we left. We were all talking, tides and how we get in and out of New York Harbor. So it should be very interesting.
I mean, it seems like you're looking at between 6 and 7 hours until you're going through the Verrazano Narrows there. Does that are you still sailing VMG angles, or is the wind tightened up? I know you've been backing for a while now. Are you tight enough now where you're not worried about jibing anymore?
We're going to have to jibe to get into the entrance of the harbor. That's
right.
For sure.
Right.
We're not going to be able, unless it's something really cool happens. But we are a little bit east of the rim line right now of our mark. We put a mark just outside the harbor. But no, I mean we're probably going to, we're on the favor jibe right now. It doesn't make sense to make a hitch inside right now. We're probably going to keep plugging along here and then dive into the channel. That's kind of the plan right now. But we're going to wait until we get a little bit closer and figure out what the breeze direction does and the strength, because our angles are different than theirs. They can get their prod pulled back and really sail deep with these kites they have. So I think what we found last night is we kind of kept to our own way of doing things, and we're feeling a little hotter. But obviously the wind shift helped. But I'm going to stick to those and just I don't know, keep an eye out for everybody. We can't see anybody yet, so.
I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing to watch from here, though, because there are boats, there are 3 boats within just a few miles of you, and it's surprising you can't see them, especially that transport coherence boat, because they're right on your beam. But what about this, Ben? Obviously I had a look down at the dock just before you all left, and you had boats with the newer boats with these with prods that can be articulated, well to windward. But if you had $10,000 to spend tomorrow, would that go to a big, giant new kite, or would that go to redoing the bow and putting an articulating prod on the thing?
I think it'd go to a new kite, and an obvious. I am pretty sure it'd definitely go to a new kite, because initiatives, the boat that Emma and Rob Windsor are sailing is Tengay's boat. He's won just about everything, and one of the Normandy Challenge races, I think he had half a main for a quarter of the race, and he still won. And he doesn't have an articulating bowsprit, and they were right next to us, and they went pretty much right around us with their really big kite. So I think that's the next move. I mean, obviously down the road, I don't. We're going to have discussions with Ralphie and figure out what's going on, but I think the kite would definitely help us out, especially last night. I mean, obviously, if we had the ability to sail deeper, and we would have been below rum line pretty much all day and going faster. So I think we might have had a chance to catch up with a couple guys that were further along down the road. We would have given them a run for their money with the ship that we got.
I'll tell you, I do find it ironic. You have these gorgeous 3DI sails on the boat, and you got all this pimping from north, but then you end up with a race that's 80% downwind.
Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of like the 600, the Pacific 600. We didn't have a reaching kite, so that's how ironic is all of this. Tim and I were laughing earlier. It's like it's been the most frustrating 15 knots of kite sailing for a day and a half, 2 days up the coast that we've ever had. I mean, you shouldn't really complain about that, but it's kind of frustrating when you're not as deep and fast as these other guys. But we're holding on, whatever. I mean, it's gorgeous out. Can't complain too much.
I have the world's tiniest violin for my buddy who is sailing, 700 miles downwind with big giant kites on a beautiful Class 40 that he didn't have to buy. How terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, are you crying yet?
Well, look, brother, you got a busy night ahead of you. I know you want to get a little bit of a rest here so you're fresh going to the harbor. I'll let you to it. Are there any, I mean, I know you had a whole pile of sponsors, but is there anyone that really stands out that's helped you get here and do this great race?
Is there anybody what?
Sorry, I'm eating a mango fruity. Is there anyone that stands out that you want to thank here that's helped you get to this line to do this very cool race?
Well, I mean, Ralphie at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, I mean, he had faith in us from the beginning when we called him and wanted to do this a year ago. And he gave us his boats to use, and, that's a pretty stand-up thing to do. I mean, we've tried our best to, hold our end of the deal. And, I think what he saw in us, I think, is pretty cool. And hopefully he's pretty happy with what he's got going. And in the Atlantic Cup, is obviously providing something that he wants to happen in the United States, which is more offshore sailing opportunities for younger people. And I think, he's definitely helped out huge and everything.
All right. Well, Ben, have a great time. Best of luck to you and Tim. Be sure to check out, everyone who's listening, check out IcarusRacing.com or the USMMA Sailing Foundation. I think Ralphie and that foundation probably done more for big boat sailing on the East Coast of the United States than maybe anyone else in the last decade. So definitely someone to pay attention to and donate or sponsor or whatever you want to do. And honestly, I don't know what your deal is with North, but if someone else wants to come up with some money for a big giant graphics on the Icarus, what are you going to do after the Atlantic Cup? Do you have any plans?
It's going to be a sit-down meeting with Ralphie and Tim and I and discuss kind of what's going on. Obviously, Tim and I need to get back to work that pays. We have bills to get done, but I got season set up with Bandit, and I think the boat will be at the shipyards for a little bit and make a decision about the future. And we won't really know. We won't really know until after the Atlantic Cup. So no big plans just yet. We would like to keep the boat. Would like to keep going. We'd like to, maybe do a little refit and get some of these modifications done to this beast and get her going faster and get out there and keep doing it. That's what I like to do.
All right, well, we'll keep giving you the press on Sailing Anarchy for sure. So any of you industry guys that want to put your logo on a big giant kite, they need one.
Yeah.
Pouch, have a great night. Give me a call when you've had a chance to get some sleep, okay, bro?
Cool. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
All right, later.